Hey, this is Chuck from Retirement Ain't Easy, and I'm coming to you with another vinyl related video. This is not necessarily a tag, this is more like a celebration. This is from Beer and Vinyl, Beer, Beer and Vinyl uh, channel, and he has challenged some people to pick a favorite year in music and highlight all the albums of that year. And so I thought, okay, I'll try this. I've seen some other folks doing it. Now I picked, and this is a celebration for his 1 year on YouTube, which coincidentally I have been on one year on YouTube as well with this channel. My first video was January 1st, 2024. So here we are a year later, celebrating this channel as well. So here is my albums from the year 1975, and I'm going to go quick through these because there was lots of choices here. But really, the reason I picked 1975 was I was 14 years old, 13 or 14 years old, and that's when I really started to dive into buying vinyl. Before that, we had got a stereo system, and I bought 45 RPMs up to that point. So I have a whole collection of 45s from my younger years. But 75, I really got into buying vinyl. Picked up a lot of stuff, so I'm going to share with you those albums that I found from 1975. Some of these are still originals, and then others are replacements, and I'll go through that. So number one, I remember buying this Physical Graffiti, Led Zeppelin, 1975. I remember buying this. This was my first ever Led Zeppelin album I'd ever bought. Before this, I was a Kiss guy, and I still am a Kiss guy, but Led Zeppelin is number two. And so I bought this album. This is not the original, unfortunately. Like many of these that you'll find out, I sold a lot of these vinyl records that I had to replace them with CDs. You know, what did I know? Number two, Kiss Dressed to Kill. This was my first Kiss album I ever bought. I do remember buying this at a department store. At the time, I lived in Puerto Rico on an army base, and so we'd go off base to get our haircuts and things like that. And there was a department store there, and I had just read a Cream magazine article on Kiss, probably the first article ever about Kiss, to be honest. And I was curious, so I bought this album, and this album was all about things that as a teenager I was thinking about, girls and those kind of things. So this is my first Kiss album, but this is not the original, unfortunately. The original got replaced with a CD. Okay, let's keep moving here real quick. Next album from 1975, Kiss released Alive that year as well. And of course I bought this. I found this probably the same department store. And this opened a whole bunch of eyes. I wanted to be Ace Frehley. I wanted to be Ace Frehley. Before this, I had taken some guitar lessons, but you know, I was learning folk songs on an acoustic guitar. When I heard this, I wanted an electric guitar, and I wanted to be Ace Frehley, and I wanted to be in Kiss. Ted Nugent. This is not the original, sadly. But I distinctly remember buying this album on the base in Puerto Rico, again in Puerto Rico, going to the what they call the Post Exchange, the PX, and seeing this album there, and I thought, well, this is pretty cool. I had a choice though. I could only buy one album, and there was another album there that I wanted as well, Thin Lizzy's Jailbreak. So I chose Ted's album first. I later went back and got Thin Lizzy's Jailbreak, of course, but just came out in 75. I don't know if I bought it in 75 or early 76. I can't remember. Probably early 76 if I was choosing between this and Thin Lizzy. So that's Ted Nugent's first album on his own there. The Tubes. This came out in 1975, and I distinctly remember buying this in Natchez, Mississippi, at a Woolworths or a Kmart. One of those two, I can't remember exactly, but again, this is one of those bands that I read about in Cream magazine. I saw the pictures, Fee Waybill dressed up like Quaalude, and White Punks on Dope, and Mondo Bodnage, and so I had to buy it. Found this album there, was surprised to find it at a Kmart in Natchez, Mississippi, and I snatched it. Sadly, this is not the original. I found this one in Half Price Books a couple years ago. So next, so those are all albums that I remember distinctly buying. The rest of these, in no apparent order, are some that came out in '75 that have some meaning to me. Captain Fantastic from Elton John. Before I heard this album, I did not like groups who had pianos or organs, for that matter. I was, as I said, a Kiss guy, pretty much hard, heavy guitars. But I heard this album and I thought, this is great stuff. I had not heard this before. I remember hearing this in Puerto Rico, though, but I did not buy this until years later. Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare from 1975. Again, this is not the original. I had the original. Also had Go to Hell, the original as well. Great album. Love this album. I don't remember where I bought the original, though. ZZ Top Fandango. I had not heard of ZZ Top until I got this album. Not in 1975, though. Much later. And this is the original that I bought. So this was probably bought in late 70s when I moved to Texas. Another original purchase, Aerosmith's Toys in the Attic. Again, this was probably purchased late 70s. This came out in '75. I moved from Puerto Rico to Texas, Fort Hood, Texas. I'm an Army brat. In 1976, so these albums probably came later in by purchase local stores, or again the Post Exchange, or in some cases, you know, a record club, Columbia Music House or RCA Record Club. Another great album that came out in '75, Blue Oyster Cult, On Your Feet or On Your Knees. No, I didn't. I had their other albums before I had bought this album. So I had Secret Treaties and Tyranny Mutation as well. But this came out in '75. Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, One Size Fits All. Love this album. This is the original album. I don't recall when I bought it, but again, probably late 70s. It came out in '75. And when I moved to Texas, I really started buying a lot of albums. And so this was one of those that I bought, just trying out Frank. I had really not heard much of his music, but I heard this, very eclectic, but a great album. '75, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. I believe my first Pink Floyd album was Animals, so I did have the original of this, but again, gone with the CD purge. Queen, A Night at the Opera. Can you believe all these great albums came out in 1975? I have this. I had the original. I do have the original. Again, bought probably late 70s. I started getting into Queen when I started hanging out with some guys, and we started playing different music in our band. Tie Your Mother Down, for instance. So another great album, 1975, Bad Company, Straight Shooter. Wow, I love Bad Company. This is not the first Bad Company album I ever owned. First one I ever owned was Burning Sky, and I still have Burning Sky on vinyl. Black Oak, Arkansas. I learned about Black Oak, Arkansas so many years before, when I was just a wee lad, 12 years old or something like that. My cousin, Lynn, was a Black Oak, Arkansas fan, and she talked about Jim Dandy and Black Oak, Arkansas, and I did not know who that was until I started hearing some of the music she had. I just recently bought this. This is a reissue. But my first Black Oak, Arkansas, and this was released in '75. My first Black Oak, Arkansas album was Live Mother, which is a great live album. And thank you, Lynn, for introducing me to Black Oak, Arkansas. All right, and then there in 1975, there was Deep Purple's Come Taste the Band. I started out Deep Purple fan, of course, with Machine Head. And I actually did not know who Deep Purple was until I took a music class in 7th grade, I think. And my music teacher there was introducing us to rock. I mean, we had to listen to the symphonic stuff and all that, but he was into rock as well. So he introduced us to Deep Purple, Yes, Uriah Heep, a lot of different bands. And that's where I learned about from a number of other bands from that music teacher. Sorry, I can't remember his name, but he was a great influence. And finally, and again, there's a bunch more, but finally I'm going to stick with just these. Grand Funk Railroad's Caught in the Act. This, of course, was coming to the end of the American band Shine On, and those albums there. This was their second live album, another great live album from Grand Funk. Came out in 1975. So that's my answer to Beer and Vinyl's favorite music from a year. Again, I picked 1975 because that's when I really started getting heavily into buying vinyl and music. Before that, I was into pop music from the radio, 45s, things like that. I still have all of those 45s when I was a kid. So, hope you enjoyed this. This was a nice jog down memory lane, recalling some memories from my childhood in Puerto Rico. So, thanks. Hope you enjoyed this. My name is Chuck. This is Retirement Ain't Easy. It's not necessarily a vinyl channel. I do retirement videos as well. I've been retired now for 1 year, so I'm going to be doing some videos on that. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and subscribe, like, and thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time. Peace.